I've recently uploaded a very controversial video that's gotten me a lot of criticism. And I've been thinking about the way I handle criticism. So in today's episode of the Input Cafe podcast, welcome back everyone. We're talking all things criticism, but we're not going to address the fact that of course there's good criticism, bad criticism. That part has been talked over and about multiple times. And what I would like to reflect on instead is the root of my fear of criticism. So I've been making content for a couple of years now. I've been an active content creator, not as it's not a job, even though YouTube is giving me the opportunity of turning this into a real job. But the first time I was able to consider myself a content creator was a couple of years ago when my TikTok profile accidentally went viral. And I unofficially became a TikToker because that was never my intent, of course. So it was an accident. I started creating content. I started enjoying the process of making content and sharing my knowledge of language acquisition and my method, my protocol. And with many people who started following, I've started attracting haters. But that's not what I want to talk about. I don't want to talk about handling haters or handling hate comments. I want to talk about the fact that this constant process of thinking of some content and knowing that that content might be controversial or divisive has revealed the root of my fear of criticism. And I've asked myself, why am I so afraid of somebody commenting mean things in my comment section? That doesn't change my life. That doesn't affect my the rest of my day. Why am I letting these things affect the way I live the rest of the day, my offline life, my real life? Now, it is very hard to make a real distinction between real life and between the things you do online, because the line is very blurred at this point, because a content creator uses time and invests time in the real life to make content. Now, that content is online, but that doesn't mean that online is not real. Just because something is online doesn't make it less real. So what I was thinking is that the thought process that I've been going through, and it's kind of a cycle. I come up with an idea. I try to make that idea appealing to the masses. That's what I've been trying to do, of course, because if you want your content to go viral, you'll have to tweak the way you present that idea. You can't just say, oh, okay, you can just hit record and say, yeah, you know what, I was thinking about this thing. It's not like talking, to your best friend in real life. You have to compete for your audience's attention, for the people who are scrolling on their phone. And if your goal is to get a message across and delivered to as many people as possible, you'll have to tweak the way you present that message. So I come up with an idea for a video, whether on TikTok or YouTube. I tweak that message in order to make it go viral. And virality is not an accident. I know exactly when my content is going to go viral, and I know exactly when it's going to flop. And it's going to flop when I'm addressing the people who are already following me, and they are willing to stay, even if I don't have a hook or even if I don't have a good intro. They're just going to stay because they want to listen to what I have to say. But if you want something to go viral, you'll have to work on the way you talk, on the way you use your gestures, your body language. So tweaking those things has become part of my content creation process. At that point, when I realized that I'm tweaking my body language, ambulances, I'm sorry, I'm not going to edit this out. It is the way it is. And if you're watching this, you can see that I'm not even wearing headphones today. I just have them here. But if you're not watching this, don't worry, because you're not missing out on anything. I'm not using visual aids or anything like that. So at the point where I am tweaking my presentation of my idea, I always stop and ask myself, do I really want this to go viral? And the only reason why I ask myself that question is because I fear criticism. So with virality, you will reach people who are not willing to understand what you're saying. They're not even willing to watch the whole thing. They'll just rush the comment section and just post something. And most times, the people who are not willing to listen and they just want to say something, and it's probably going to be something mean, they are not your audience. They're not the audience I'm trying to reach. So, there's no way around this. When you reach a wider audience, there's no way around reaching the people that are not your target audience. So you have to take the good and the bad. And what this has taught me is that sometimes I fear virality because I fear criticism. And so I stop and try and make my content less viral, which can hurt the performance of my channel. But it's something that is better for me. And when I try and make my content less viral, I just remove all those, the little tweaks, and I just leave the content as is and post my idea. So for this podcast, for example, that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm not tweaking my presentation. It's just me talking to the camera, no editing, no hooks, nothing specific that will attract more viewers. It's just a podcast. And there are ways to make a podcast go viral, but that's not my intent. My intent is to talk to the ones who are already here on this channel because they find it useful. They're following my my protocol, and they need some audio material. So the problem of this thought process of trying and asking myself, do I want this to go viral, or do I not want this to go viral, is this: I am affecting the way I'm affecting the way I behave right after my content has been posted. So when I hit upload, if I know that I made some tweaks, some changes to the way I presented that content in order for it to go viral, I will be fearing criticism for the following hours. I'll be constantly watching the comment section, and that is not healthy. But we know that. We all know that. And that's not what I want to talk about. What I want to talk about is what this has revealed about my heart, the intentions of my heart. So wanting to go viral can have different motives. And my motivation to go viral should be, as a content creator who talks about language acquisition, should be to reach and help as many people as possible. What it's doing instead is that it's feeding, it's growing and it's nourishing my need of approval, because the fear of criticism, or at least my own fear of criticism, is deeply rooted in my need of approval. And there's no way around it. I'm being completely honest with you right here. I think we all feel some need of approval at a certain point in our lives. But my need of approval has become worse with content creation. So I'm addressing this in this podcast to be open and, to be openly honest and sincere with you guys, so that you know that behind every piece of content I make and I put up there is a struggle. And this is a spiritual struggle. And I'm saying these things as a Christian because my goal shouldn't be to find approval in people. And when I realize this, and when I pray, when I take this burden off of me and I give it to God, I feel that content creation really has a purpose in my life, which is not a purpose to destroy my personality, to destroy the way I perceive myself, but to honestly, to make other people's lives better. So my question for you is, how do you handle criticism, and how do you handle your need of approval?